From Plant Lab in Austin, Texas, this is Stacker News Live.
Stacker News Live.
What the heck? I'm gone for 1 week and we changed the name of the show?
With Keyan.
Yeah, I mean, I heard.
I was trying to think, wait, am I with Super? Am I with Keyan?
I heard you guys, you guys like broke the Billboard charts or something.
Can you believe it?
I guess I can. I can.
How does that make you feel to the stackers?
Super than me.
How does that make you feel to the stackers at home? Like, does that make you feel like you're not enough?
It makes me feel inadequate. It makes me feel like I should reconsider my life, maybe. I don't know.
No, it was a great time. I think Super he just brings in the clicks, you know.
He does. He has like a heat to him.
Yeah,
I could feel it from here.
He just
energy.
He just brings in the clicks, bring in the views, bring in the likes, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, how was your? Do you want to tell the stackers where you were at? Because we named it "Where's Cube."
Where's Cube? Right.
Yeah. Where were you at?
Were you guys playing? You guys? Oh, I didn't watch the episode, so I don't know. But I went to an EDM music festival called Lightning in a Bottle in California, in Bakersfield. I'm not really an EDM person. I'm not really a music person. I like music, but I don't know anything about it. But it was a blast. It was like, I was billed to me as like a good friend of mine. I was best man in his wedding. He invited me, got me to buy a ticket and promised to go. So I went, but it's like a crazy, like hippie, EDM thing, and I learned a lot about EDM, and it was fun. There was art, live painting and stuff. I met my friend Doug, who I hadn't seen in a long time. He was live painting there. This is the painting I have in my living room, and the print that you have.
Dude, I love that painting.
Guy. Yeah.
I get complimented on that painting all the time.
It's cool. He's cool. I wish, I hope he continues to produce work. And then, I saw one stacker there.
Really?
Yeah, it gave me earplugs. I had forgotten earplugs and we were at the front. And
stackers at EDM parties.
Yeah, I guess so. I wasn't expecting anyone. He saw my hat. He's like, "Hey, he's like, do you like Stacker News or do you like Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah. I like it."
So you didn't tell him who you were?
No, I did eventually.
Oh, okay.
But I was like sort of overwhelmed by everything. But it was a blast. It's really weird. EDM and yoga and body work and, like reforming, I don't know, stuff. Like we went to one talk about making AI like more communist. It was kind of, that wasn't the title obviously, but that was basically what they were saying.
This is what happens when you go out in the middle of Bakersfield and start doing a little
something,
and listening to EDM.
No, so a lot of people do drugs at these things. I did. So I'm usually pretty open with my drug use, and I had a little bit of. I drank quite a bit of booze because it feels relatively safe. But I did take a micro dose of mushrooms and a micro dose of Molly, which is relatively experimental. No one I knew had ever done it before. But so
you're in outer space. Literally in outer space.
No, so if you don't know what a microdose is, it's like nearly a subperceptual amount of a drug. Like it has a nudge on your mood or your point of view, but not really it's not like a drug. It's not, the experience isn't, it's the equivalent of having like one beer. You're not getting, so it's not, you can get really drunk and have a lot of, but if you just have one beer, you have a slight buzz, not even, you could still drive, you could still do everything. So that's like what a microdose is, but it's not alcohol in this case. It's like these other substances that have these other effects. Anyway.
Well, I'm glad you had a great time. The stackers, maybe you can do a post on microdosing, put it on Stacker News.
Never.
I think this would be.
I don't want to promote it. Also, if you're a child, don't do any of this stuff. I'm 13, but I'm like very mature. No, but
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. How was it?
Dude.
Well,
we'll get into it the rest of the thing, but it's been last week. You got to watch last week's episode. We talk about it, but yeah, it was, I don't remember last week. This week's been so crazy for me. So it's kind of like, it's been crazy, but
it's always crazy.
That's Bitcoin.
Ain't it? Yeah.
Okay. So the first top story of the week is nobody should suggest using a Raspberry Pi for running a Bitcoin node in 2023! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. This is from 0331A7357 on June 1st. Bitcoin post, freebie post too. 32 comments, 3,395 sats. what is this going on here?
Yeah, so I run my node on a Raspberry Pi, but a lot of these points like hit home with me. I had to replace it. It was basically complaining about Raspberry Pis, and like they're not fantastic computers. They're fun little kind of toy computers, but maybe not suited for the bank that you're running at home. And I totally gel with that. There's just a number of issues, and at least at this point, I think the original Raspberry Pis maybe came out in the like 2010 period of time, and so at that point they were really like providing a novel type of value on the market. But he basically argues it's not really the case anymore, listing out all the various problems that you could have with a Raspberry Pi, and it even links to an Amazon search where you can buy computers for cheaper than you can buy like a whole Dell computer that's like more powerful that you can buy for cheaper than you would be able to buy a Raspberry Pi. And I know a lot of people who are really serious about node running. They're none of them are recommending Raspberry Pis anymore. And you also see companies like Umbrel and Start9 coming out with their own hardware. So I think we moved on, and we can now begin using more powerful computers to run our nodes, and that seems good. And so I thought it was a great post and makes sense to me. And I think if I were to build a node again, I'd probably run it on a different computer.
Yeah, I think also too, everything that you're saying, I think for the hobbyist, like person who just trying to get into Lightning, I think a Raspberry Pi still makes sense. But for somebody who's like, really trying to go after it, I think like Warren, I think, is he from Blockstream? Yeah, Warren did a whole thing at Lit Devs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Was it earlier this year? Maybe it was last year.
Yeah,
I forget what it was. And he was over the Lenovo ThinkPads. He's had a post on it.
Yeah, what's great about the laptops is they have a built-in battery. So
that's basically like there's if you go on the Austin Lit Devs YouTube channel, there's like the whole thing when he talks about it. Ronin Dojo as well too, and then you still have Voltage that's out there, right? I know there was a pleb that was going to make a pleb parts, but it looks like he never went through with it. Pleb.parts, so that's unfortunate because that would have been cool if he would have built that out. But there's usually local, like we go, like personally, like Pleb Lab goes to the local Goodwill discount electronics store, which is like in mid Austin. And we go there, we buy like all the Dells and all the monitors for like $25, $15 for the lab. So all the stuff that you see that's in the lab, it's all repurposed stuff that we do. So that's what I would recommend. But
you could probably find some really good, cheap stuff. People just give away all kinds of valuable things.
Yeah, Bada Bing said, maybe you should assemble and sell node-specific hardware. Pretty sure many Bitcoiners would be interested. And then the OP says, what could go wrong? Being added to a list and being supply chain attack. More likely just throwing money out the window, if only for global shipping.
Yeah, the margins on this stuff is probably not great. You probably wouldn't do too well as a business. And it's scaling these aren't great. I mean, I think it unfortunately just requires people finding the hardware themselves. So
All right. Our next top post is over 40 people showed up over first ever Bitcoin meetup in Havana, Cuba. This is 18 comments from CryptoCoin, May 29th, Bitcoin post, 5,602 sats, and 100 tips were forwarded to No Name Needed.
Yeah. So I think this was No Name Needed was the one who threw this meetup. But it's pretty awesome. Like Havana, I think it's only I'm not very good at like geopolitics and stuff, but I think only recently Cuba was kind of like freed up a little bit. I remember a couple of years ago discussing with a friend when we were traveling, like, let's go to Cuba because you could finally get a visa and travel to Cuba. So I think things are changing there, and it's really cool because it's really close. We have a complex history with Cuba, but it's also very close to the United States. A lot of Cuban Americans out there. But look at the turnout. They probably have I don't know what, I assume they use some kind of their own currency there, but it's probably crap because they were communists, and that has a stink to it monetarily. And they probably, but look at, it's 40 people.
Dude, that's amazing, especially during a bear market. I think that's the coolest thing is like, can
They have
you
ladies
still
there.
bring in the people? And I mean, here in Austin, we're kind of expanding into other realms. We just had Toshi through the first like farmers market last weekend at Plub Lab. And last night at Austin Bitcoin Club, we had some young people selling different types of like organic stuff. So you have to go out there and like start the circular economy. It doesn't just happen because, Strike release global payments. That's not how it happens. It actually requires Strike releasing global payments and you actually going out there and educating the public. If you want to save the world, it comes down to the plebs out there that are doing it. So I'd love to see this. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Very powerful stuff. And cool to see more meetups like this happening. Occasionally people will come on Stacker News and talk about
That's
the
awesome.
new meetup they're throwing. But this, I remember distinctly.
That's a cool shirt too. Cuba Bitcoin.
Yeah, maybe that's one of the organizers.
It's dope.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Our next top post is, wouldn't it be nice if Nostr had a cool logo? Here's one. 3,900 sats, 15 comments from Mbaruli. Nostr post on May 30th.
Yeah. It looks like the image link is broken, but you can visit their GitHub and there it's functional, but it's kind of a cute logo. In my opinion, it might be too opinionated and a little too cute. But I think it looks awesome. I think if Nostr were a company, I think this might be the way to go. But usually for things like, if you look at the Bitcoin logo and any Bitcoin like assets that have gained, or, art assets, design assets that have gained wide use, they're usually pretty simple and bland and not too opinionated. And so I think Nostr might need something that's a little more like that.
I really like the previous logo, the one that was just the blue icon. Like, why did we go from blue to purple? Purple's just such a weird.
I don't remember the blue Nostr icon.
It was here. Let me pull it up. It's probably in their GitHub, but it was just the blue. It almost looked like a just like icon.
Oh, was it like something fiatjaf made?
Yeah, and I think they just grabbed it from like whatever. I forgot. I had to ask Super where it exactly was, but it was just like a blue Nostr. I mean, I used to have it on Thriller all the time when we
was
talk
it an
about
ostrich or
no? There was no Nostrich. Nostrich didn't come until like much later.
Until Jack.
But it was just blue Nostr. Gosh, what was it? Let me just type in Thriller because I feel like that was when. Yeah, it was this one right here. So you see that? That's all the.
Oh,
I actually enjoy that logo. I don't know why. I thought it was just very simple.
It was like a flag.
Is that a flag?
I think that's a flag. Let me see if I could find your search.
I just type in blue Nostr Thriller. So what do the stackers say? The stacker says, love it. Amazing job indeed. I need a logo and an icon for a Nostr client I'm building called Floster. Can you let me know Andrea's rate, or maybe if he wants to contribute to my small project with his work, thank in advance. And then he shares that. Well, see, at least you got some collaboration happening there.
Here we go. So this is what
I enjoyed that logo, but
I think it's not really much of a logo, but I get it's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's like a flag. It's like a nation.
I think it's just me. I don't really like the whole ostrich part of it, if I'm being completely
Ostriches
honest.
are kind of ugly, but that's what's kind of fun about them, I think.
I think there should be an animal that describes like, like
decentralization.
Yeah.
Like a bacterium or something, or maybe or like a mycelium. Like
wow.
Yeah, like
Look
a
at
mushroom. You. Wow.
All about psychedelics come back from
well, there are mushrooms that are psychedelic.
That's so funny. Okay, cool. I think we'll figure it out. The next top story is the Zen of stacking sats on Stacker News. This is from Siggy47, May 27th, Bitcoin post, 25 comments, 5,685 sats. Can I get a hallelujah?
Yes, you can. Hallelujah.
This is an amazing post. I haven't read it yet, but just by the sheer.
Oh, it is good. I would recommend reading it. Siggy writes well and is like entertains while informing, I think. And it has pictures in it to kind of, lighten it up as you go through it. But yeah, it's really good. I mean, is portrait of a holder as a young stoner. So he kind of starts off with where did I come from? Where is my perspective informed from? And, growing up in the 70s is more or less where it starts. And then he kind of describes like what you might be thinking as you begin to use Stacker News as heated, and how you might how you might be wrong about the way you're using it, and just very simply nudges you maybe towards getting wise faster than you might in terms of your use of the site. It's it's a very, very fun article. He has a nice warning about Darth Coin for new stackers out there, and warns you if you're still in your shitcoining phase, you might experience a little bit of Darth Coin's love. And I thought it was really fun. And
I think I've been, I won't say anything, but I think people are starting to realize that what you have there on Stacker News is really special, and you figured a lot of the hard stuff out already. I would throw Fountain as well on there too. Mm-hmm. You guys figured a lot of those hard stuff out. And when I'm on calls, that's literally the two things that I go back and forth, is like, those are the two guys that I would go reach out to and figure it out. Also, and all this stuff, but also the cool thing I like to see these days is posts like this. It basically like intros you to what it's like to be on Stacker News. Basically, it sounds like this right here. It's Bitman says May 30th. He goes, geez, this post has pretty much everything for a young. I guess he's trying to say.
I think is that like a.
I don't know what that is. I would say for everything for a young Bitcoiner. Cricket. Yeah, Sat Wisdom.
Grasshopper?
Young Grasshopper. That's what I guess it's right. So Sat Wisdom, Darth Coin, Dorothy, Anita, and the 70s Kung Fu. Surely this could be required reading for entering the ancient art of stacking. And I think that's like that at its core is what Stacker needs more of. It needs more welcoming like this. And I think seeing a post like this today, and Siggy's been here around for a while, right? So
it's been.
It would be cool to hear like everybody's posts where we know like Nout and Crypto Coin, those guys like the regs.
The regs, yeah. I think the main point of this article is like, don't post for the point for like 2 stack sats. That's like that usually won't win. It's usually pretty transparent. People will see through it. What you want to post for, because you like something and you think other people might like it too, and that's usually a better signal. It's like when people start companies to make money.
Yeah, it's the wrong way.
It's usually it's not going to work out because you distort your perception of reality into something that it's not. But if you just instead build a company that you want yourself, that you wouldn't want to be a user of, that's usually the right way to go. So same vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Good advice. Love it.
Excellent post.
The next top story is Meet. This is the final top story of the week. Meet fiatjaf, the Nostr creator who's lured 18 million users and 5 million from Jack Dorsey. This is a Forbes article from BRXYX, May 30th. A Nostr post, 6 comments, 3,121 sats. What did you think of this article? Did you read it? I read it.
I did.
We were talking about it in the lab.
Yeah, I thought
it was cool to hear everybody's opinion. But
yeah, I thought it was really good. I suspected for a long time that fiatjaf was Brazilian.
Oh, no. I thought you were going to say super testnet.
No, I suspect for a long time that fiatjaf was Brazilian, but his accent it doesn't sound terribly Brazilian to me. And they also said he grew up in South.
Yeah, they doxed his age too. Yeah. I mean, if you read between the lines, you can kind of, based on what he says.
I'm mostly interested in because I've spent some time in Brazil and he doesn't sound like, because like NVK has what I understand as a Brazilian accent, which is like this kind of sing-songy. It's very like a song when he's speaking and I feel like Fiat. Anyway, that's maybe beside the way. It's cool. It like covers fiatjaf's angle and like the genesis and what like motivated him to begin working on Nostr.
I thought it was the most hilarious post I've ever seen in a really long time.
Really?
And yeah. So I thought it was just like, because in the article, I have to find it, but in the article it says, he's like, in the beginning, it says right there, the only person who wrote scroll all the way up to the very beginning. So if you go to maybe it's down. Sorry.
That's okay.
Let me just pull it up here so I can find the archive post. So here, sorry, stackers. I'm trying to get there. The most noble effort. So I went to there it goes. Right here it goes. I found it. This is where it starts getting kind of fun. This is when I started reading. I was like, oh man, this is going to be entertaining as F. It's like in his first interview with the press, fiatjaf says Twitter's increasing propensity to ban users had frustrated him, but he was unable to switch to competitor while retaining his followers. Inspired by Ark's idea, he created the marketplaces, shop owners, all this stuff. Where is it at? Where they literally said, where he literally says he won't. Damn it. Can't find it. No.
What do you, so what's
basically
the
what I read somewhere in here was he was like, this is the best information that we can get out there based on where does it say that? Where it's like based on what he told us. It's not verified. Like none of it's verifiable. It's just through.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like
okay. That was pretty early, I think.
It's early somewhere where he's like, dissatisfaction. Where's it at? The article is based on multiple. There it goes. The article is based on multiple interviews with fiatjaf and the people around the world who joined them. Forbes agreed to honor his requests for anonymity because he fears for his safety. Some of his details were impossible to verify, but whatever. We could corroborate. Checked out. That to me was like the best line in there. It's just hilarious to read that.
Yeah, because they're like we didn't really confirm any of the facts here.
And then it keeps going down. And there's even more of those kind of things where it's like, we asked him for what happened. And he basically said, we couldn't confirm it either. It's just like, it's like dealing with a Bitcoin developer. It's like, oh, this is just hilarious. And then the final thing I will say, this reminded me of hatching Twitter. Did you ever see that? I think it was like Nick, gosh, what was his name? Nick Built.
No, he sounds like a porn star though.
Nick Bilton.
Okay.
Yeah. So hatching Twitter was a whole thing about how Twitter got started and stuff like that. But Nick Bilton used to be a writer for, I don't know, one of the publications over there. And it started off as just an article similar to this. And then it turned into a book. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, this looks very reminiscent to what Nick Bilton wrote almost a decade ago or 2 decades ago at this point. When Twitter came out, it just looked very reminiscent.
Oh yeah, maybe someone will be writing.
Oh, there's totally going to be a book about Nostr, 100%. Like it probably will be the guy who wrote the article, I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, he did a lot of work. I mean, for how much maybe he didn't corroborate or whatever, it's still a lot of work to write this article, and he went pretty deep. I mean, most of the technical details aren't terrible. I did dislike that he didn't mention OpenSats when he described that Jack Dorsey gave $5 million to a nonprofit.
Oh, so it's Michael Del Castillo. So this guy, he does crypto posts. Is the same guy. Yeah. So yeah, he does crypto posts. He probably just doesn't know about OpenSats that exist.
But he knew that Dorsey had given $5 million. It's just like, why not put a link to OpenSats? That would be like very kind and thorough. And it'd also make the article more complete. But that was like one issue I had with the article. Otherwise, it seems like I didn't know that part of the motivation was marketplaces, and but behind Nostr initially, because when I was introduced to Nostr and I went to the GitHub, it was all about Twitter and about how Mastodon sucks, and so that's what I thought the motivation was initially. But it appears to be Ben Ark and Diagon Alley and doing more marketplace stuff, which is cool. So
I think also the funny thing is just like seeing what we lived through, like in this kind of form of like, does that make sense? Like,
they're telling our story.
It's so weird, dude. It's so weird. Like, cause I feel like the Nostr community is a very grassroots community, and it probably what I guess early Bitcoiners feel like. Maybe it's on some level like that.
Yeah.
So it's like living through that and then actually hearing what they're reporting, and it's never everything's ever going to be perfect, but it's just like I remember it differently. Like, but who knows?
What do you remember differently?
I just remember super talking about it and not shutting up about it. And then I remember Francis talking about it too in 2021. Nate, a lot of people inside the lab. And then at some point, I started paying attention to it. Like when Damas came out, when William started doing it. But even he was working, I think, at Blockstream at the time or something. So it's like,
I thought he was developing games. Was that not something?
No, he used to build on Core Lightning. At least I don't want to speak for him, but at least that's what I know. But
yeah, I thought it
kind of happened naturally though with the zaps and the sats. Cause like you think about it, like if William hadn't done that or even found out about it, then he would have not known to to do the, it's weird, like, right? So Nostr launches, they're trying to go this route, and then William starts building on it, and he's like, oh, I see Stacker News doing the Sats thing. I want to do that. And he already has core lighting experience, so he just builds it in. And it's kind of like, that's kind of, I guess, what you would need. So,
for what?
For like this kind of thing. It's kind of weird how it just kind of took off like that, just like naturally. But it only happened because other things were already in place beforehand. So it almost makes you wonder, like, is this meant to be, Keyan?
Is it? I think it is. I think we are meant to have a decentralized social media platform, and I think more decentralized stuff like this. I think it'll be a long road to get there, to the point where it's actually like very mainstream. But so my position, like the way I think about Nostr now is like maybe Nostr isn't the end. Maybe it's more like a bit gold and it's just the beginning. And but still, really cool to have a bit gold and to be around for bit gold.
I think the only two things I'm really bullish on Nostr these days, like that there's two, like off the top of my head, I would say, like, obviously all the developers working on all that stuff, that's always going to be there. So love seeing that. But just the speed, right? It's like, if you look at the Bitcoin and how fast it was being built, and then you see the Lightning space, how fast it's being built, and then you see like Nostr being built. It's like a J curve. That to me is like the most fascinating thing. And then on top of that is the big brains that are working on it now. Like, you're coming into it, the Mutiny guys are coming into it. You already have William there, and then all the other guys like Pablo.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that too. Also, just that's
crazy bullish. That's like the most bullish things. We have all these we have all these high quality nerds.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing. And then the Sats is just like the cherry on top.
Oh yeah, Sats is that cherry.
I think that's all the top 5 stories of the week. I'm gonna get into my post if I can find it.
Yeah, what's this about? I saw some rumblings about this.
Oh, you didn't see the?
And I saw a little bit of it around, but I usually don't. I'm like, okay, this was posted on Google.com. What kind? Like, how watered down?
Yeah. So stackers just want to bring this. This is my top of the post of the week because I think it's important, but I think people are looking at it. I'm just going to give you my view on it.
Okay.
So, how Voltage uses Google Cloud to scale its Bitcoin Lightning. This is a Google Cloud blog post. Basically, long story short, Voltage has partnered with Google Cloud to help them, utilize their platform and allow people that are Google Cloud users to then, build out a Lightning node. I think this is important because if you look at just like where we were 3 or 4 years ago, like Lightning wasn't even at this point where we can even go to Google, right? It was like all the blockchain kind of like JP Morgan software consensus guys, like going to all these things and just selling like absolute garbage, and like finally the world has come around to Lightning. And I think that's just a lot of what everybody does in the space. And I love seeing this because this is just like, because Google doesn't really partner with just anybody. So it's just good to see a really solid team at Voltage go out there and get this partnership made and like allow regular people to start experimenting, right? A lot of us have Google accounts. A lot of us have Google business accounts, and it just makes sense.
So you mentioned they partnered with Google, but what is this beyond? Is there any specifics to that partnership, or it's just, like they're in talks now? They have
no. So you basically can deploy a Lightning node. It's not like, you can do that already on Voltage. Like, I can go to the Voltage node that we have here and then launch it and do stuff like that. But this is already built into their Google Cloud. So that's all it is. It's nothing. It's not like crazy, like, exceptional, but I think it's still important to put a flag there and say, cool, Lightning's here with some of these other Google guys. Cause I think isn't Google, like, there's a lot of ex-Google people in the Lightning space at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of VC capital around Google that's out there being deployed in the Lightning space. So it kind of makes sense, but
yeah, I know there's some prominent people. I mean, there's I don't know. Google has so many employees, so inevitably they're gonna end up in Bitcoin. Some of them are gonna end up in Bitcoin land. Okay, so this is like you can now deploy Voltage nodes in Google Cloud, and you weren't able to do that before. Is that what this is?
I haven't looked into it that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it is, so the story of the part of the story that really interests you is that Google Google on some part is acknowledging Bitcoin and Lightning as a thing.
100%.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, when you can tell also by the post, if you go back to the Sacred News post, not everybody was really happy about it, or no one really responded to it. Right. You had Franz App. He says, does this have any privacy or regulatory capture implications? And then now it jumped in. He goes, if you run your node with voltage, they can access your private keys. This adds more parties that are capable of doing that. So I understand what they're all saying. I get it. But I think it's still really cool to plant a flag out there and say, hey, Lightning's here. And there's options. Because if not, they're using like all these Ethereum and Solana blockchains.
Yeah, maybe, poo stuff. But I know one interesting fact is I know Voltage has investment from Google Ventures, and so I wonder if this was in part brokered by the VC at Google Ventures that backed Voltage, and perhaps it was. It's pretty excellent though. It's probably great for your SEO to have Google's blog on google.com have links to your website. That probably alone is like a big thing. Cause now if you search for like Lightning node, I bet Voltage just pops up immediately because Google's site probably has like very high trust.
I actually think they're going to get more accounts too. Like think about it. Like what's this Lightning I keep hearing about? Jack. And then they're like, I'll build one out with the Google Cloud that we have over the weekend. Sure. And then look, I built this Lightning thing and it's all happening.
These two guys, this is like two guys out in like Round Rock on their porch. What is this?
So I think you would get a lot of those kind of, those kind of guys. Give me that Lightning node. You know, that guy, Tom, that we talked to down in San Antonio, he works for like a bank and he talks about this all the time. He's like, they want us to go experiment with blockchain car. I don't want to do that. F that. I want to do like the Lightning stuff and Bitcoin stuff, but I don't have, it's hard for me to explain that, but this helps him now. I can say, yo, Tom, look, just launched it.
Google says it's cool.
Google says it's fine. So that's actually a big thing, man. Like
I know
doing infrastructure stuff.
People are lame. I get it. Yeah. That sucks.
They just want one bill.
They do.
All right. That's my post of the week. Keyan, what do you got?
I don't got it. So I don't have a top post. I thought I probably would have done the Zen of stacking sats on Stacker News. I thought it was very high quality and I liked it a lot. But there's quite a few good things. I really liked the post that Kevin posted from the Stacker News account about too embarrassed to ask. I thought that was a great post, and we have a lot of people asking relatively dumb questions, but then a lot of more seasoned Bitcoiners coming along and asking them. This build of this Mac Mini Bitcoin node would line up pretty good with the top post for the not running on a Raspberry Pi, so you can use an old Mac Mini. But a lot of good stuff. There was also the announcement from Umbrel that they are doing hardware. It's beautiful hardware. They're so good. They're so good with product. It's incredible. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like it starts with an M. But the CEO is like, you can tell he like cares a lot.
That's great.
Yeah, amazing. But yeah, so I wanted to cover the meta. So yesterday we released a standalone PWA, which people had been asking for a long time. Exius did the majority of the work on this. And so now you can more or less use Stacker News' website like it's an app. It's not exactly an app, but you can.
Wait, I thought we could have done that already.
You could, but it would open up in the browser. So now it opens up without the browser Chrome, without the URL bar, without any of the other browser stuff.
Is it better than BSATs or no?
I wouldn't know. But it gives you the full functionality of Stacker News inside of, what kind of looks and feels like an app. Not it's not super close. It's a PWA, which is sort of hamstrung. Anyway, so that exists now. I know, like Tony Giorgio had been asking for it for a long time, and a lot of other now wrote the original issue on Stacker News'
GitHub. We were talking about it for like a year and a half at this point.
Yeah. He was like, he asked for it a long time ago. He's like, just do it. And I had been waffling on it because I wanted to do it a certain way, but Yeah, so we have it now.
There it goes. Oh, okay, yeah, that actually looks good, dude.
See, it's full phone.
I still like the BSATs. How it does but BSATs is starting to break now. Now that there isn't any
no subs.
Yeah, so it's kind of getting a little flaky. I still like how it has this design. Can we get that on it? I don't know if it's possible.
What design?
See how he has he can just go boom, 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 select really quickly.
Oh, but you get that in the top tab.
But it's not the same.
I see. Well, maybe we'll take some inspiration from B-sides eventually. The other thing we added here was being able to subscribe to other people's posts. So if you're like currently before this, if you weren't the OP of a post and you really like the post topic, you would have to come back and recheck the post periodically to see new comments in it. But now you'll get notified. Now you can be like, I want to subscribe to this post and I want to be notified about new comments. Like
Can I still follow people? Is this related to me following somebody? Like if I want to follow CryptoCoin or Darkcoin every time they post.
You also, and people, so my point of view is people don't actually want follows. I think it's a lot like bookmarks and it's just something people can ask for. And it's a bit of a mirage. Like it's like, I know I can ask for this thing and it exists elsewhere. But like Reddit has follows and no one I know uses follows.
Okay.
And so I think it's just one of those things, but maybe eventually it'll make sense. I don't know. I still think about it from time to time, but anyway, but this is more like you see a topic thread, specifically Moneyball asked for this because when they were doing their wallet, they were releasing a slew of things on their new wallet. And there was a lot of questions getting asked and people accusing.
It should be good for AMAs if you ever bring them back.
Yeah. AMAs would be a great one for this, or just a controversial thing that someone wants to tune into and really make sure they hear all sides of it. But that's kind of the gist of it. And then we also, more small things like you can now get browser notifications. They're really basic, but we'll eventually make them more complex. And so, especially with the PWA, you might be able to get like backgrounded notifications, like push notifications, be like, oh, you have a new reply and you should check Stacker News or whatever. So that might happen. And then in the footer, we also have a link to the current version of Stacker News that is running. It links to the GitHub commit that is the head of the current running version. And that's basically it. That's
Ezekias came in hitting the ground running, huh?
He did. He really did.
Gosh,
I mean, a lot of it was he got most of it, like I would say like 80 to 90% of the way there, which is pretty excellent.
He's only been hired for like a week.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Slow down.
Don't slow down. Speed up. Let's go faster.
I work with Keyan. It's I'm just kidding.
Go faster.
Look at Keyan. He's like,
we need to go faster. But I think
I'm just basically saying it's like, dude, that's amazing that you did this in a couple of weeks. That's crazy. Look at this.
My goal with Exius is to basically give him the keys and just let him push to prod. Like that's my goal. That's what I'm hoping we can get him to. Is where I don't need to review his code anymore. He just gets basically free reign. But I think we'll get there eventually. But we're not exactly there yet.
Wow,
but
look at you, man.
That's the goal.
Building out the team. I love to see it.
Yeah. That's the goal. That's the point of hiring.
How's outer space going?
Outer space is not. I mean, I haven't really done a whole bunch. I've been designing a plugin system for Booger. And then
so you're building all the external stuff.
There's still a bunch of stuff that I have to do if I want to do it the way I want it. Unfortunately I can't just show up and use what's there. I have to.
There's still time. I feel like right now there's a lot of repeating on Nostr happening. So
I'm not really so much worried about time. I'm just worried about I don't want to build another Twitter on Nostr. I'm kind of tired of it. So
yeah, I think there's room for innovation and invention here, or if that's the same thing. Who knows?
I don't know.
Cool.
That's the meta. So now we're on to, unless do you want to go over anything?
No, you go for it. I was going to go I got to do the boost. We haven't done them in a couple weeks.
So super stat segment. I don't know. Maybe we should rename this now that Super's more popular than me. I don't need to give him any more credit than he already gets. Maybe I should pick a pleb who is less respected and renowned. Anyway, but who we got? We got Exius stacked. This is day. I messed this up. Here we go. Week. JK14. Top stacker Siggy, probably with his Zen post. Rsync, stacking a lot. Monotone, Darth Coin, Exeus. I'm way down here, which is awesome to see.
He's just killing it, bro.
He does kill it. I think he stacked like, I guess we can check him out. What has he stacked? He stacked 600,000 sats.
From 166, he's been a stacker?
Is that
what he said?
Is it in his bio?
He has me beat. Whoa, I didn't know that.
I should probably, this is something I was reading in a book while I was,
I'm 529.
What stat should I surface to show how old you are? Everyone's
first post or your first comment or your first thing.
Your first item?
Yeah, like this was mine, 529. I don't know how to get to it, but that was mine. That's his 166. I love how he did the hashtag. I'm going to do that on my thing. Yeah, dude, that's the first thing I look at when I look at somebody's profile on Stagger News is like, when was your first item? Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to, maybe I'll surface that for people's profiles like automatically. And so anyone.
It carries weight.
Yeah. I think that's cool. I'm going to do that. That'll be something. Maybe I'll just do that today.
Maybe get rid of the cowboy hat.
No, cowboy hat will be there forever. And you just won't have one.
I found out Super told me how to get a cowboy hat.
I heard about that. I heard
100 sats. Really, Keyan? Is that it?
Dude, it shows if you can't spend 100 sats a day on Stacker News, what's up?
I usually go high. High roller, 1,000 sats.
If you go 1,000 sats, you get the cowboy hat too.
I know, but it should be like maybe a cowboy hat with like a little sheriff thing in the middle. With
there are people who want them to be like colored and stuff. I think that'd be cool. I don't know. We got to Exeus if you're listening. Maybe that's something we could do. His top spender is Vlad. Did a lot of boosting. I did a lot of spending.
Oh, wow. Vlad's on there now. Oh, that's great.
Vlad's been around for a long time.
I didn't know he was actually posting on there now.
Yeah, he'll post his podcasts, articles.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a real one. Nerd to Ninja, another top spender. Brunswick, killing it.
Oh, there's Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar boosting their new release. Apparently, they had a big release, a big improvement on the podcast, like the listening experience and the audio stuff, which I'm excited to try out. I still haven't tried out some of their social stuff.
The social stuff's really good.
Yeah, I've heard. So what Oscar was telling me when I was talking to him last time, and I was like, that is one part of the app I haven't really used, but I need to start listening to more podcasts, and maybe I'll get around to that. Yeah, lots of bad boys and girls out there spending sats. Oh, and
I got disconnected.
My phone. I guess I have to I have that thing.
No, you're good. Well, I guess we'll just end it there and get to the boost.
Let's get to the boost.
Okay, so the boost we got. This is going back a couple weeks. So we had Pleb Dev and SNL swimmers. So when we did the Miami, it was just called Miami, that one. The photo for that cover art was the beach. And then we got that was
a lot of fans of
swim
the cover art. Yeah, we get a lot of comments on the cover.
And then Blockchain Boog, he boosted us 2,000 sats. He gave us a thumbs up for Miami. Then we had last week, Where's Cube? Who knew? Doing EDM.
Who was
EDM.
I was dancing. I was learning
Wild Hustle
how to stomp.
Boosted us 100 sats. He just said super exclamation point. And then Blockchain Boog, 1,000 sats. He goes, oh, snap, it's super. And then Blockchain Boog says, super pizza for the wind. Damn. You love to see it. You love to see the stackers out there.
You do.
Stacking.
You really do.
Sending us some boosts.
That's cool.
Keyan, it's a beautiful time to be stacking sats right now. We're at 26, 27? Where are we at? 27, 28 Bitcoin?
Yeah, 27, 27, 8. That's pretty good. That's pretty good numerology.
Debt ceiling got re-raised.
Did it? I'm not going to care. Of course it's going to get re-raised.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep stacking here on Stacker News. Create the circular economy. It's going to be a beautiful time.
We'll secede.
We'll get into outer space at some point.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. But we'll see. Zekas is killing it.
Killing it.
What do you got going on this week?
What do I have going on? I'm going to work and I'm going to do work. And that's probably most of what's going on. I might try to relax on Sundays. I'm going to try to go 12 hours a day, 6 days a week for a while and see.
What?
Yeah. See if I can. Right now
You can't beat me, bro.
Come on. Yeah.
No, seriously. Like for my work ethic these days, since I've taken over, it's like wake up 7 a.m., 8 o'clock, get here by 9:30 ish, and then stay here till like 9, 7, 8, and then leave. And then the next day, same thing. Next day, same thing. It's what's required. It's what's required. And it also, the Saturdays and Sundays stuff. I've come to realize like, there's people who like suffering and there's people that don't like suffering. And I think to be an entrepreneur and to be a startup founder, you have to love suffering. You have to embrace it and not run away from it. And I think that's part of it. I think you already work hard enough, but I would say though, that's going to be a really hard thing to do. I couldn't do 12 hours a day, every single day. I'm like 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I already do 10, 6 days a week, but I think I'm going to try to push it to 12 and see what comes. When I was in college, I would do 16, which was insane. But I really enjoyed it. But I'm going to try to do 12 and then one week, like to take 1 4-day weekend a month and see if that is like a slight improvement. I don't know. I'm just messing with productivity, seeing if I could push a little more out.
I think the way I look at it, I keep it more fluid. I kind of look at it like, okay, this is the life I love. This is the life I live. And there is no separation from work and life. And I just kind of keep it intertwined and it's all the same thing. And so I wrote a post about it on Thriller if you want to go read it, but it's like the Jeff Bezos thing.
No, it's not work-life balance, work-life harmony.
No, it's not. Is it?
Oh, that's his thing. I thought it's a really great way of putting it. And he would know. He's probably working like 100 hours a week.
Where is it at?
Or he was until he married that woman, and now they're just looking hot.
No, but I think it goes to like him in the early days, right? You see that picture of him on the like plywood or whatever. Like it's that kind of look. That's the kind of look.
My favorite clip from early Jeff Bezos interview where he talked about his daily breakfast was a roll of those Pillsbury Doughboy biscuits. That's what he would do every morning for breakfast when he was like in his mid-20s or whatever. So he would crack one of those open and just eat like 6 biscuits.
You can tell a lot. I will say this. You can tell a lot about a founder in how they're dressed and how what they do in their daily regimen. And like, you see it too. Like some of the most brilliant founders, like Steve Jobs, he just said like the same thing every day because he didn't want to spend time thinking about that. Just like, I'm just going to put the same thing on every day. I don't want to spend time thinking about it. And then he would just go and then it would just stop. And it's just like that type of thing. But you look at Jeff Bezos, he just looks crazy with his like beat up like desk and stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool vibe. I love all that old. There's like a really good Twitter account called like Dripping Tech Bros, which is pretty cool.
Dripping Tech Bros?
Dripping Tech Bros. It's like tech. It's like, it's like pictures of tech bros.
Oh,
like when they're like either dressed up or, dressed down or pretty cool.
Cool. What are you going to, so you're going to work this weekend?
I'm going to work. How about you? Do you have big plans?
We have big plans.
Oh, that's right.
One of our friends is coming from out of the country and we're going to do a welcoming party.
Is he fully back? Is he welcome back here?
I heard he's back in. Wow. COVID is gone. It's the world is reconnected. Changed. So that should be cool. You're going to come?
Party time. Yeah, that's right. I'll go to that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Sackers, you guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Zach.